Well, Dutch, after your little stunt in Blackwater, all of us are wanted men with the Pinkertons after us and the government closing in. We're almost out of options, but Josiah here can walk free wherever he wants. What say you that we send him back over to Blackwater to get our money, and then we can all get out of here, eh? Machiavelli advises a prince/king/self-appointed leader in this case to be pragmatic, prioritizing gaining power over conventional morality, mastering warfare, and cultivating an image of virtue instead of any actual virtue so you can maintain a great image to your followers while being ready to act ruthlessly, like a fox or a lion. Key strategies for leadership, according to Machiavelli at least, include appearing merciful but being capable of cruelty, learning from history, being feared rather than loved if necessary, managing perceptions and acting decisively while always guarding against complacency to secure power. My first introduction to moral relativism was in a book by Bano Qudsiya called Raja Gid. For those of you that don't speak Urdu, Raja Gid translates to the king vulture. I read Raja Gid while I was still way too young to read it, so the whole romance and love business didn't really make much sense to me, truth be told. Still doesn't. But who needs love when you have video games, guys? Anyway, what stuck with me all these years is a random passage from the middle of the story, and it went something like this. Everyone judges each other's terrible moral actions to make themselves feel better about their terrible moral actions. No one wants to be at the bottom of the barrel, so everyone is bad, but at least not as bad as the next guy. It's the idea that the right thing to do really only depends on what makes you feel good about yourself and what you can live with, really. Now, in this video, I could be an armchair psychiatrist and tell you that Dutch has a god complex, that very complex is the reason why he just can't let things go despite always preaching that revenge is a fool's game, why he drowned Angelo Bronte in a swamp, why he fed him to an alligator afterwards, and why he just couldn't not watch Como Driscoll hang, why he just had to mess with the United States Army when the gang was already supposed to be on the run from the Pinkertons. I could tell you that, like almost everyone with a god complex, he's ultimately a coward, because when the going got tough and he had to choose between self-preservation and his brothers, he chose self-preservation. I could tell you a lot of things, but let me tell you this first. Most of the world's problems arise from small people trying to feel big. They come from people without the temperament and the preparation for leadership trying to lead, and above all, they come from Machiavellian quote-unquote leaders. Now, I'm no fan of Angelo Bronte because he was pretty Machiavellian himself, but this is what he had to say about Dutch.
Yep. Oh, hey, big man. We gonna ransom you or what?
You're pathetic.
Well, I am. Because from where I'm sitting, you're the one deserving of pity, my friend. All your men, all your money, it weren't no match for a bunch of bumpkins.
You are nothing. You do nothing. You mean nothing. You stand for nothing. Me, I run a city. And when the law catch up to you, you will die like nothing. I am this country. You are what people are running from.
I possess things that you will never understand.
You don't even possess your own men. $1,000 to the man who kills him and sets me free.
What are you gonna say now?
They are even bigger fools than you.
No doubt.
The law will find you. Already, the dogs are on the way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're right. You are so right.
I have to say, while I don't agree with Angelo's characterization of himself, and that makes sense given how similar he and Dutch are, despite his little pre-death speech, I kind of agree with his characterization of Dutch. Dutch is a man out of time and out of rhythm with the times. He can't acknowledge that the era of people like him running around the American wilderness doing whatever they pleased is over. The world was running away from them and sending hounds like the Pinkertons after them as they ran away from them. Arthur realizes this. He says as much multiple times throughout the game, but Dutch just can't accept it. The word civilization is thrown around pretty often in the game. It's said with contempt every time Dutch says it, and it's almost used as an insult to anyone who decides to partake in said civilization. Dutch talks about how civilization is all shackles, how it's a disease that's trying to take over the world, and how the gang is running away from it. Dutch tells everyone that it's not a dignified way to live, which, you know, for all of Dutch's failings, he had some crazy foresight on soul-crushing 9-to-5 jobs. To Dutch, civilization isn't just taking away his freedom, it's taking away his godhood. turning him into nothing more than an ordinary felon with a silver tongue who's convinced a few fools to follow him to the death.
Who made you the messiah to these lost souls you've led so horribly astray?
I'm nothing but a seeker, Mr. Milton.
You ain't much of anything more than a killer, Mr. Van der Linde. But I came to make a deal. It's time. You come with me, and I give the rest of you 3 days to run off, disappear, and go and live like human beings someplace else.
You came for me? Risk life and limb in this den of lowlifes and murderers so that they might live and love? Ain't that fine?
I don't want to kill all these folk, Dutch. Just you.
In that case, it'd be my honor to join you. Excuse me, friends. I have an appointment to keep with...
I think your new friend should leave now, Dutch.
You're making a big mistake. All of you.
Yeah, dreadful. We have got something. Something to live and die for. How awful for us. Mr. Milton, stop following us. We'll be gone soon.
I'm afraid I can't. And when I return, I'll be with 50 men. All of you will die!
Throughout the entire game, Dutch tries to convince the gang that everything they're doing is for their own sake, that this is what they must do if they want to survive, that they don't have enough money and that they always need just one more score, and I quote Dutch here, to make it out the hood.
No more, Arthur. One more big score. We got enough money to leave. All this turmoil has the army and Pinkerton spinning. We take a boat and slip away.
I don't know what you're saying, Dutch, but it seems like I've heard it all before.
Just one more.
And there's always a goddamn train. Arthur!
Now, here's an interesting experiment that you as the player can do. Go around collecting cash and collect a lot of it, or just to use a mod to have $1 million like some people did, and donate it all to the camp. With either $50,000 or $1 million in the bank, surely the gang can get the happy ending Dutch wanted and get the fuck out. His family that he claims to love so much no longer has to live off food stamps in O-Block. Surely you would think that that would trigger the special secret ending where Dutch and the gang live happily ever after. Well, think again, you fucking idiot. Nothing changes. You can deposit $1 million and legitimately zero change happens. Now you could argue that this is an oversight on the part of Rockstar Games, but I would say that in the game with horseballs physics, and yes, you heard that right, Rockstar artists and programmers were not allowed to see their families until they made the horseballs shrink in cold weather. If an artist drew horseballs shrinking and a programmer had to program that into the game, I'd venture to say that they would take this very obvious detail into consideration. For Dutch, this was never about the money. It was always about his crutches. His ego was so heavy that he just couldn't carry it without the gang. Early in the story, we get to know that Dutch considers the Van der Linde gang very different from the other gangs in America, because they're the moral robbers, you see. As you all know, at the start of the game, Dutch saves Sadie Adler, a woman whose husband was killed by the very bad O'Driscoll gang, and who was abused for days afterwards. He puts a blanket around Sadie Adler and says you're gonna be okay now. Of course, he doesn't get to say this to the wives and daughters of the hundreds of lawmen he kills, or any other idiot who happens to get in his way, or to the innocent woman he shot during the Blackwater boat robbery. But hey, you've gotta cut a man some slack. I mean, a man can't own a slave without getting called racist anymore, or kill a random grandma. What is this world coming to? Whatever happened to freedom of expression? Sometimes, innocent people get in the way of totally legitimate, above-board, and very moral ventures of robbing people. I mean, geez, people, mistakes happen. You can't win them all, can you? So I guess, in the end, what's wrong with Dutch is pretty simple, really. He's another very small man who's using Machiavellian principles, pretending to be an empath. All he cares about is power, and when someone doesn't respect it, they end up as alligator food. I guess the moral of the story here is learning to think for yourself is really one of the greatest skills you can develop in life, so you don't end up following Dutch Van der Linde. Take care of yourself, burn as many copies of The Prince as you can, and goodbye.
So right! They are good at smelling filth, huh? So filth has got to be
This off! Your friends, the Pinkertons, gonna come and rescue you? You repulsive little maggot! Call them now! You call them!
Jesus. Part of your philosophy books cover feeding a fella to a goddamn alligator, Dutch. Part that covers weakness. That part.
I don't know.
Well, I do. It ain't nice. I know it. But it is us or him. I figure it might as well be him.